Now, as a filmmaker, some of you may not know I am a filmmaker. Most of you probably don't, because everything I'm doing is mostly under the umbrella of being a composer, and which I am. I am also a filmmaker, and these things, they kind of coexisted and happened at the same time. So to give a very quick overview, I mentioned earlier about being a session guitarist, then turned composer, got into composing music and music production, and then I got into kind of collaboration and the message behind music and what music can be used to do as a positive for good in the world, you know, to explore music and bring people together. So I found out about an orchestra in Afghanistan called Zora, who was the first all-female orchestra in Afghanistan. And I flew over to Afghanistan and I made a feature-length documentary by myself, just with a load of cameras that I took over, filmed it all myself, presented it, I feature in the film. And that film went on to win some awards. It did very well in film festivals, and it was even played at the Houses of Parliament in the UK to sort of try and make an impact on the government's decision on how to deal with the situation in Kabul in 2021. I also went on to help out the Wall Street Journal. I featured in BBC, like the main BBC News and BBC Radio 4. It did a lot for my first film. It was a real, like, I didn't know what would come of it. I had big dreams, and I went out there and did it, and some wonderful things happened. I met some amazing people, and my career went in a really crazy direction. And I will be working on a series on YouTube about that whole journey, about going over there with all the footage, because I think it's become far more than the film I made, the story around it, and everything that happened in between, and especially what happened after the film was made. It all kind of runs together into a very, very interesting series of events, some of which I think have some real historical importance that I want to help share through this story of some of the people I met, you know. So we will be talking about that in the future, and I will be releasing episodes of a sort of like a YouTube docu-series, essentially. That will be on my Peace Beats Films channel. So head over there and subscribe if you haven't already, if you want to check out some of that stuff. I've written like the first episode, and I'm working on it at the moment, just starting to work on it. But this film is very different. So off the back of making that film, I was contacted, well, I met actually at a networking event, a producer called Sasha Reed. And she has worked in the music industry and is now transitioning into the film industry. So we both kind of have that in common. She had a lot to do with the band Kasabian and is very good friends with them, and sort of like got them kind of signed and got them moving, and did a lot of big things with Kasabian. And she's now sort of transitioned into film, and she had an idea for a film and she pitched it to me. She'd seen my film and was like, let's work together. So what she pitched to me was a film about mushrooms making music. She asked me if I'd heard about this, and I said, yes, I have seen videos about this, about what is called biosonification, where you can attach crocodile clips to mushrooms that send electrodes into a device which converts it into MIDI, which you can then, as a producer, convert into sounds through whatever plugins, synths, orchestral things, whatever. So she was like, let's do a short story, like a short film. Have you got any ideas? I started thinking, came up with some things. I said, we need to talk to my fiance about this project, because she is a little bit of a mushroom expert and loves foraging, and is an amazing illustrator, voiceover artist, writer, and musician herself. So the three of us put our heads together and started working on something called The Lonely Mushroom. And I am very excited to premiere just a little bit of this. I'm very proud of this film. The whole thing is composed, the whole soundtrack is composed by mushrooms and arranged by myself. Working with mushrooms as artists was a very interesting thing to do. We also had a guest composer called Brian D'Souza, who is the mushroom maestro. If you have heard anything about biosonification and mushrooms making music, Brian D'Souza is the guy. He's also known as Auntie Flo as a DJ. You can check him out. He is, yeah, he's an amazing musician, very, very successful, doing very, very well. And he contributed a track to this as well. We're not going to get to that part in this film. But yeah, we're going to have a little minute or so. I'll find a correct place to kind of stop it. Of the film, The Lonely Mushroom. And if you want to go and follow it on Instagram, you can check it out. Just type in The Lonely Mushroom. You'll find us. I'll need to drag up that link in a minute if I can find it. I should have had that ready, Blubberneck. I'll put it in the comments once we're done with this stream, for sure. So, this is The Lonely Mushroom. Let us hope the internet is up to it. I'm gonna put it in HD. I don't think I'm gonna put it in 4K. But I would love to hear what you think about this, and if you would like to kind of see more, and you know, maybe soon we will be talking about film festivals, and we will be talking about screenings and all kinds of things, not just in the UK but in the US as well, and hopefully worldwide. Okay, so this is the beginning of The Lonely Mushroom. I hope you guys like it.
Let's begin our journey, following the spores of this glorious puffball as it spreads its story. In the brightness of the day, millions of spores drift through the air amongst the rich scent of damp soil and decaying leaves. Each a tiny vein of potential, searching for the perfect home as it prepares to take root amongst the shadows. One by one they disappear, burrowing beneath the undergrowth, waiting for nature to unveil its purpose.
And that is all I'm going to show you today of this film. Now, the film itself runs at just under 16 minutes, and it tells several stories. With the writing has been done by Sasha Reed, the producer, and Amy Kavanagh, who is the art director on the film, and it was narrated by the three of us. And the soundtrack, it's meditative at parts. It's sometimes gnarly and crazy, and sometimes it's jazzy. It goes all over the place, but I worked really hard to find the right instruments for the right sounds that the mushroom data was giving. So I was literally crawling around on the forest floor. We had to find the mushrooms, and there weren't actually many mushrooms shown in the first minute 43, but we have an array of beautiful mushrooms. You know, I'll see if we can find a couple of little stills here of some of the beautiful visuals that we got. I'm very proud of the whole thing, and I really cannot wait for everybody to see it and hear the music and hear what's been done. So we had to crawl through the undergrowth, find these mushrooms, hook up crocodile clips to them, run them into a device called a plant wave that then sent MIDI data to my phone. And then once I recorded all the mushrooms in the forest, I would run home, bring them into Logic Pro, and I'd listen to them, and I would think, what is this? you know? So like, what am I hearing right now? And there was one in particular, I was like, this is potentially noise, but on a piano and with maybe an ahu, the Chinese string instrument, we might get a kind of like a sort of like a Japanese jazz kind of sound, something a little bit more like old school Final Fantasy kind of sounds and things like that, and it came together really beautifully. And it was a really interesting journey, kind of working with mushrooms as the subjects of music. And the soundtrack gets really gnarly. But what you heard just there, all that music, I haven't added any notes to that. All I have done is chosen the sounds that the notes are playing through. So I chose organic choral sounds, and I created some synthesizer sounds that fitted perfectly to it. And yeah, that's how we ended up with mushroom music through biosonification. So there are no screenings yet. This is really early days. The film is finished. What you just saw was a clip of a final draft, but we don't have any dates yet for film festivals. We don't have any dates for screenings, but I promise you there will be online screenings of The Lonely Mushroom. There will be physical screenings of The Lonely Mushroom where you can go and see in places like London, in places like LA, where you'll be able to go and watch this film in person. It's been an absolute dream. Sasha Reed has been incredible to work with. Brian D'Souza has been fantastic, and Amy Kavanagh as the art director. Together as a team, it came out with something really, really, really cool that I'm really excited to share with everybody. So, I'm so sorry about the internet connection issues tonight. I'm afraid there's nothing I can do about it. It worked fine last week on Friday, so I thought it was going to be fine. It's been temperamental for me in this location a little bit across the week, so I was a little trepidatious. But we got most of the stream. All of the requests are written down. I've got them all there. And they will be brought on to the next stream, I promise. Don't worry. We will get to every single one. And I can't wait to hear them all. But I don't want us to start getting into another piece of music when the internet is being this temperamental. I think if it drops again, it's just I'd rather end on a bit of a high note, you know what I mean? So, yeah, that will be cool to get into next week. I will make sure the Wi-Fi connection is a strong Wi-Fi connection, and we will not have this issue next week, and we'll have a longer one next week too. I'll start earlier, I'll end later. Let's do a longer one to make up for the fact that this week was a little bit shorter. Thank you so much for everybody, for all their support, for helping reach the goal tonight. I'm so glad that you enjoyed the little clip of Lonely Mushroom, and yeah, I really, really can't wait to show you guys. Follow the Instagram at The Lonely Mushroom. And yeah, I will be doing another preview next week, as we lost so many people kind of dropping off from the original live stream we had running before I had to reboot it. So I want to give people the opportunity to see it who may have missed it. So we'll do this again next week as well. But next week I want to do a longer, bigger one. Let's really, really get into it. Thank you so much to everybody who's turned up. It's been always fun. It's been really, really great. I've had a really great time, and I hope you guys have too. Sorry if I didn't get to your track today. I'll be taking it on next week, and we'll get down on Friday a little earlier, end a little later. Thank you so much to everybody who tuned in tonight. Have a lovely evening. Have a lovely weekend wherever in the world you are. Have a great day. Have a great evening. Have a great anything. Just take care of yourselves. Peace and love.